Good evening and welcome to BYU-Hawaii News. I'm Alexander Smilip at this hour. Here's what you need to know. Reddit is not letting up in its war with the stock market as the fallout from the GameStop crisis continues. Our very own Felix Tam has more on the situation.
According to information, we know that the US stock market has been facing a crisis in the past few weeks. A stock from the GameStop has been crying up from $20 to $100 because of an online fight between the Wall Street and the internet. So we have also found that many of the students has been using the app Robinhood to invest in the GME stock to get more money. So here is an interview that we are with a student from the BYU-Hawaii, and let's see what is going on about that. Hello, this is Felix report. So we got people like BYU student that we want to interview about the GME stock. So we want to ask him like what his opinion about how's the GM stock going and then what it's gonna be like after. So what's your name?
Connor Larson.
His name is Connor. So Connor, what do you think about GME stock right now?
I think it's going crazy right now. It's going way high. It's a good time to invest and make some quick money.
So do you have a chance to buy any GME stock recently?
Yeah, I've bought a couple shares of GME stock.
What happened right now then?
Well, it went way up and then I sold it off and then it still kept climbing. So
You sold it off?
I sold it.
How come you sold it? Because I thought the stock is going up really high.
Yeah, I was worried it's gonna crash, and so I wanted to take my money that I made and get rid of it.
Sounds like a good choice. So, do you think the GME stock is gonna be crushing down or going high after a week after?
I think it'll come crashing down.
Okay.
I don't think it'll stay.
All right. Thank you so much, Connor.
You're welcome.
Here is Felix report. Thank you, Felix, for getting us a report. Many experts also claim that the stock market is not going to crush or making a lot of serious drop, but they also say that we should be aware of how much money that we are going to invest.
Thank you very much, Felix, for that report. As the Philippines returns to high-level lockdowns, as it has for most of the pandemic, according to NHK World News, BYU-Hawaii students are reportedly unhappy with President Rodrigo Duterte's move to accept the Sinovac vaccine. Crystal Lee has more on the progress of what's going on.
President Duterte addresses this controversial decision of buying mainly Sinovac for the emergency use here in the Philippines in his weekly national address on January 13, 2021. The Sinovac vaccine created by Sinovac Biotech in China seemed to be 50.83% effective after results from Brazil trials went public. Current BYU-Hawaii Filipino students do not totally agree with Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte's decision on buying Sinovac for emergency use here in the Philippines.
I don't actually agree with Duterte buying the Sinovac because of its low efficacy rate, but I think because the government officials are the ones that's pursuing it, I think they should be the one to test it first.
I do not trust the vaccine that China made. And I am certain that Filipinos view those vaccines with suspicion too. I think President Rodrigo Duterte should stop being goody-goody with China and deliver the promise he made to the Filipinos when he was elected as the president. He should purchase Moderna or Pfizer because we have the data that supports that they work, they are effective. So why pay for something whose efficacy is in question?
It's hard to trust a government that demands trust, but gives you less than what you deserve. I agree to have the vaccines administered in the Philippines, but I disagree with Sinovac being the only vaccine option for the country.
Sinovac Biotech defends its own vaccine as effective in other trials done in Indonesia and Turkey. But nonetheless, few Filipino senators, netizens, and BYU-Hawaii Filipino students still remain skeptical about Duterte's firm decision on buying Sinovac for the Philippines.
Thanks, Crystal, very much. The sun is coming out and the rain is starting to slow down, well, for most parts of the state anyway, which means hiking season is just around the corner. Here's our own Lily Simons with what you need to know to stay safe and hike smart this summer.
While most people think of the beaches when they're thinking about Hawaii or Oahu, there's so much more than just the beaches. There are so many beautiful hikes that you can go on. Some of these hikes lead to big, beautiful waterfalls, while others lead to views or the pillboxes. When you're going hiking, it's really important that you make sure that you're bringing the right equipment, and not only that you bring the right equipment, that you bring enough of the equipment that you need. So the first thing that you need is water. You need to make sure that you are packing enough water. If you don't have enough water, this could lead to getting dehydrated or having heat stroke. So it's super important to make sure that you have those to not only stop that, but it will help you prevent you from getting those as well. The next important thing that you bring is food. It's super important that you bring snacks just in case you get stuck or you need more energy. It's really important that you have food with you. I would also always make sure that I bring a phone just in case I get lost or someone on the hike gets hurt. That way you're able to call for help or you're able to look up how to get back. It's also really important that you check the weather. Hawaii can rain randomly throughout the day, and everyone knows that, but it's super dangerous to hike when it's raining because there could be landslides or mudslides. There was a student that was hiking behind Haula, and it was raining and the clouds started getting really low, and instead of waiting to see how he could get out, he just decided to go, and he started hiking down, and they sent out search parties and they have not been able to find his body. So it's really important that you make sure that the weather is good for the hike that you are doing. Not only checking that, you need to make sure that you have the right shoes. You need to make sure they have good traction so that you're not slipping all over the place. And if you're going in water, you're going to want to be wearing different shoes than if you're not. And one of the things, while if you're hiking, you can wear double socks so that it stops you from blistering. And yeah.
Thanks, Lily. I'm sure we will be enjoying a lot of hikes between now and the end of August. Finally, our featured sports story tonight is not so much about the expansion of the NFL season, it's what happened before then that may have a bigger impact on next season. It's not the NFL draft, of course, it's the Super Bowl. Here's how it went down in tonight's nightcap. The time after the Super Bowl is a time of reflection. That can vary on which team you cheer for.
Fournette! Touchdown!
According to the Associated Press, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes said this was the worst he had ever been beaten in his young career.
They were the better team today. They beat us pretty good. The worst I think I've been beaten in a long time. They had a good game plan. They kind of took away our deep stuff. They took away the sidelines, and they did a good job of rallying to the football and making tackles. We weren't executing early. I had a few miscues. We weren't on the same page. But I mean, credit to them, man. They played a heck of a game defensively and offensively and beat us.
The Chiefs were the defending champions in Super Bowl 55, according to ESPN, but they could never get it going in a 31-9 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, despite Mahomes making spectacular plays.
Again, running for his life. Mahomes got it away!
But on the other hand, the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers had an air of celebration.
We came in this way, there's a lot of boats. Says, anyone working today? No way.
To the point where quarterback Tom Brady, according to ESPN, threw the Lombardi trophy from a boat he was riding on across to his tight end Cameron Brate on an opposite boat. Even though the trophy wasn't damaged, there was celebration of a championship and hopes of a repeat, according to the Associated Press.
And anybody that says run it back, we're going for two.
Make no mistake, however, there is much to like and dislike about these two contenders, and they will be back. The only question can be, what's next? For BYU-Hawaii News, I'm Alexander Timolip. That concludes our newscast for this hour. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you the next time on BYU-Hawaii News. For more information, you can always check out our news website, kealakai.byuh.edu, and you can also follow us on social media. Good night.